Okay, so in this video we're going to go through the process on how to create UV inside Maya. But you notice that whenever you create a basic shape in Maya, Maya will always give you the basic UV already. Okay, so for example, if I create sphere or cylinder or boxes or whatever basic shape that you create, Maya will generate the UV map for you. But again, for demonstration purposes and learning purposes, I'm going to go through on how to create the UV from scratch, so that way you can create the UV map on your own. Okay, so first let's just create the box. Okay, and then you go to the UV editor, right, and this window should pop. Okay, so just like I mentioned before, whenever you create a basic shape, Maya will give you the UV map already. Okay, now you're probably wondering how this UV map is created by Maya. Okay, so let's go to the UV menu by right clicking and UV and just delete the entire thing. So that way this box, right, don't have the UV map. And again, the idea of this exercise is we're gonna create the UV map so we can do some texturing inside Photoshop to create a dice when we put back the texture. Okay, so when I do UV, right, I like to have this polycount open. So if you don't know how to open this, you go to display, tab display, and polycount. Okay, so the reason why I'm showing you this polycount is that this box has 6 faces. Okay, it tells you here, meaning that I'm gonna be having like 6 UV map in this UV editor. Okay, so just like we have here. So if I have 6 faces here, I have this 6 UV map there. So you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so the concept is when whatever faces you have in a 3D object, you're gonna have the same or equal faces in your UV map. Okay, because everything needs to be projected into 2D. Okay, now here let's start with the easiest portion. I think the top one is pretty easy. So let's select just the top one. Okay, nothing else. I'll select it, and you go to UV and then planar mapping, and you click the box. Again, by default, right, this is your setting, and if I press apply, you're gonna get a line, okay, which is incorrect. Okay, because what happens is when you choose X, is that Maya will look at the face from this direction, okay, which is left or right direction. Okay, so when you look at that face from left or right, they only give you the line, and this is the result. Okay, so choosing X in this case is incorrect, so you have to choose Y axis. Okay, so if you choose Y and press apply again, they'll give you this option, or they give you this result. Okay, so everything is correct, and there is some UV map happening for the artist to paint later on. Okay, so I'm going to shrink this because again we want to share this 0 to 1 space area with all the other 6 other UV map. Okay, so once you finish, just place it somewhere there. Okay, again, this one is finished, and we're going to move on to the next portion. Now, if you're wondering how I get the checker pattern, it's actually I turn on the checker pattern button here. Okay, so this is toggle on and off. I think by default it was like that, but I turn off this checker pattern around here because it's a bit hard to see when you're looking at the UV map. Okay, so I turn off the checker pattern inside my UV editor. Okay, again we move on. So the next one is the front one. So I go to UV, okay, planar mapping, and if I use X or if I use Y, right? Sorry, it's give you like the better result. Again, because if you choose Y, Maya will look at this face from top down, either from the top or from the bottom position, and those will give you a line. Okay, so if we choose X, also give you a line, because X axis is left and right, right, the left. Okay, and I'll give you a line. So the correct option for this face will be Z-axis. Okay, I think it's pretty simple. And again, once you finish, you try to shrink everything, because everything needs to be in the same ratio, so all the textile density are consistent. Okay, you don't want like one of the face having like more checker pattern and his neighboring having a lesser. Okay, then you're gonna have like a different texture resolution. Okay, so right now just try to eyeball it and just put it there. Okay, about this size. Okay, moving on, I want to go a little bit quicker. So this one is X because it's left and right. Make it a bit smaller and put it there. Okay, and this one also same, right? X and put it there. And next one, right? And will be a Z. Okay, press apply and just put it there. Okay, one more. So we're gonna go to the bottom one and we're gonna use Y. Okay, and we're gonna get something like that. Okay, so almost there. But what you notice is that everything is in a separate and it's not connected, and scaling is also different. So if I look at my original box, everything is connected, right? And everything's also in the same scale, whereas this one is not. Okay, so there are a few things that we have to do. Now, I'm going to delete this one and go back to the box that we are doing now. So the first thing that you notice is that there are colors here. Okay, so if you're wondering how I get this color, I actually turn on this button. Okay, the second button, because by default it was just like that, so you cannot see the color. And you're probably wondering, like, is the color matter? Yes, because right now what red indicate then is the face is flip. Okay, so all the correct color should be blue. Okay, so basically what red means is that if I create an object there, red means like flip. Okay, red means like this. The black one is actually facing out or facing you. Okay, so that's not what we want. We want the correct one, which is the gray one, is facing you. Okay, so we have to flip back the red one. Okay, let's close this. Okay, so first turn on this, and then we're going to flip all the red ones. So select this, right, in UV, and we're gonna flip it. It's like this, and I'm gonna flip it. Okay, it's this, and we're gonna flip it. Okay, so now everything is blue. Then we can connect and scale them properly. Okay, now to scale them properly, you have to just select one of them. Okay, and get the correct sizing, maybe around this size, right? And then you have to go to the UV toolkit. So if the UV toolkit is not here, so for example it's closed, you have to open up the tool and then show UV toolkit. Okay, and then you can put this right there. Okay, right there. Okay, and you have to go to a transform menu and scroll all the way down to get the tools menu. Okay, and then this is the tool that we're going to be using. It's called textile density. Okay, so select one of them, right, and I put the map size or the output file resolution to be 2048, and I want to press get. Okay, so they'll give you the value of how many textile are in that unit. Okay, so once I obtain the value, I can select one of his neighboring friend, and I'm gonna press set. Okay, so they will give me the correct scaling for his neighbor. Okay, so let's go ahead and select everything, and then click set. Okay, so they'll give me the correct sizing. So now that we're taking care of the sizing, the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to connect all these UV map. Okay, because right now everything seems like broken. Okay, so to do that, you have to right click and then you have to go to edges. Okay, so if I click one of these edges, right, that will indicate the neighboring UV map. Okay, because if you look at my 3D object and I select these edges, right, okay, so this indicate like this face, oops, this face and that face is actually connect together, and this is the edge that they are sharing. So I have to connect this and that together. Okay, so let's go ahead and click this Sue and then move and Sue, and this will let you stitch or connect the UV map. Okay, so I can continue stitching, select the edge and then stitch together. Okay, now select this and stitch together. Right, I'm pressing G to repeat the last command. I'm selecting this, and G, and that, and G, and everything now just like what we had with the original box. Okay, so it's a T shape. Now, again, once the UV is complete, you have to make sure that is inside this region, 0 to 1. Not that one, not that one, not that one. Okay, the one that has this colorful axis next to it. Okay, because by default, that's the placement when you want to export your UV. Now, I also increase the size because I want to maximize the UV spacing. So make sure it's not going overlapping, right? But it's just nice, so everything is right inside the 0 to 1 box. Okay, so in this region. So now that I'm happy with the scale and the placement, the next portion is we're going to export these to Photoshop. Okay, so right click, UV, select everything, right, and click this camera button. Okay, so this camera button will let you save into a file. Okay, and the file format that I'm going to be using is I'm going to use PNG. Okay, maybe for easier purposes, right, for testing, you can put this on desktop. But in my case, I put this on my project folder. Okay, so it's under robot image and output. Okay, how this is my setting. So I'm exporting as 2048 and also 2048. Okay, and the file format would be PNG. Okay, so I want to type this to be UV underscore, let's call it dice because we are going to make a dice pattern for this box dot PNG. Okay, and I want to save, and once I'm happy, I click apply. Now, if you by any chance like did something wrong, okay, Maya will give you an error. Okay, so if you have this red message, meaning that you have an error and Maya is not successful when exporting its UV. Okay, so you have to check what the error message are, and if you get this black color, okay, a message, it's actually indicating that it is successful. Okay, so whenever you have this message like it's black, there's no error, it will give you like the file already. So right now, like Maya successfully export the UV under this folder, and the file name would be UV underscore dice.png. Now, from this point onward, then you can open up that UV underscore dice PNG in Photoshop.